afraid they soon know her name. You finally touch her, they know in danger. It won't be long before you feel the pain. Cause your emotions will overtake you. You will go heaven in her big brown eyes. But she's no angel and she'll forsake you. It shouldn't come as any great surprise. Passion isn't really happiness. There is trouble in her sweet caress. Lost in confusion, you try no delusion. If you don't cry, get ready, don't believe you crying. It's gonna hurt to tell your body's dying. Can't escape it, ain't no use in trying. There's no exception, love and leave you crying to tell. You're a broken man for you. A real soldier, but you have never seen this woman smile. You can't resist her, you can't control her, so you'll be helpless as a little child. You feel so foolish, but just remember, there is the man who wouldn't be her slave. She's hot as fire, cold as December. This will drive you to an early grave. Every time you try to run away, your desire's gonna make you stay. Still in her power, we curve out the hour. Why even fight? Get ready, love and leave you crying. It's gonna hurt you till your heart is dying. Can't escape it, ain't no use in trying. There's no exception, love and leave you crying to tell.
Can you hear me over the music? Or is the music too quiet?
Passion isn't really happiness. There is trouble in her sweet caress. Lost in confusion, you drown in all delusion. If you don't cry, get ready, love will leave you crying.
Alright.
Can't escape it, ain't no use in trying. There's no exception, love will leave you crying to tell. You're a broken man for you. Satisfaction is one of what you're making action. You got the brain, you got the love, you got the strength, you got the power. Let's get it on. You got the love, you got the strength, you got the power. Let's get it on. Ready or not, come on, show me some action. Get it up, get on your feet now.
Prima donna girl, yeah. All I ever wanted was the world. I can't help that I need.
Alright, how does my voice sound now? Still too low?
You say that I'm kinda difficult, but it's always someone else's fault. Got you wrapped around my finger, babe. You can count on me to misbehave. A prima donna girl, would you do anything for me? Buy a big diamond ring for me? Would you get down on your knees for me?
Pop that pretty question right now, baby.
Beauty queen on a silver screen. Living
So, today we are going to be working on faces and heads. If everybody likes how this tutorial goes, we'll move on to anything else you'd like to work on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have a pencil brush here so that it'll look natural for you all. Obviously, the first thing you always do when you start with a face, head, etc., is you start with a circle. Now, when I first started teaching myself to draw, I always kind of started with, you know, DBZ eyes and nose and, you know, and what ended up happening is the face wouldn't have proper construction. So that's why I'm going to teach you the proper construction of the face. So the reason we start with a circle is because all human heads are, you know, if we're making a skull, the skull would be the cranium. That's where the circle would be. Our jaws, I'm going to draw guidelines here. This guideline is to tell you which way a person is facing. This guideline over here is to tell you whether their head is tilted up or down. So for example, if someone were looking up, you would draw the guideline like this. If they were looking down, the guideline would tilt down. Everything is a circle. Think of it like a can. When you look at a can and it's facing up, you can see the circle line tilting like this. But if the can is tilted like so, then the line would be different. See how that affects the way you draw the guideline for your heads. So this person is looking not quite straight at ahead, but, you know, a little tilted down. Everyone with me so far? Excellent. So, let's start off with that guideline again. I always put my guideline exactly in the middle of the circle. And I put two lines, one above and one below. This is just something that I do. Everybody has a different process. Then you add a jaw to it. Once again, my process. And I often do ears. So I have the shape of the head like so for me. Then we're going to go into the face. So the reason I have these two guidelines is because I like to draw the circles for the eye holes. Now, like I showed you earlier with the skull, our eyes are actually inside holes in our skull. So when I draw these lines, it makes it easier for me to follow the guide frame of our round eyes. If I didn't have these guidelines, sometimes my eyes would be shaped oddly and they wouldn't be the right size. You know, one would be bigger than the other, one would be drifting off too far, they would be too close. So, that is why I like these guidelines. And actually, I drew these eyes a little too close together, so I'm going to fix them. But, depending on the face you're drawing, you can draw the guidelines different sizes. So, for example, this is about the average guideline that I do for a face. Now let's say I'm doing somebody like Fluttershy who has really big eyes, or my own personal character, Lumina. Heck, let's draw some Lumina here. Lumina has very large eyes, so my guidelines end up looking more like this. And then a small jaw like so. Notice the point of the jaw lines up with the bottom of the line. Drawing those big old circles here. Now make sure you leave space here, because our eyes aren't on the side of our heads like fishes. Our eyes face forward. So if your eye is drifting too far to the side, then your eye is like a fish face, because our faces are kind of like squares. So Minecraft kind of has it right. Our eyes would face forward. Our ears are on the side. So you always want this kind of face here. And so I always leave a kind of imagined side here. Very useful when coloring, but we'll get more into that later. So there you can see this one versus that one. Bigger jaw, smaller jaw. The eyes look about the same, so don't listen to me, I'm kind of insane. Whoopsie. So, now we're going to go on to some other features. I'm going to keep going here. So when I draw the eyes, I kind of follow the shape of what I did. So if your character has pointier eyes, you can draw the circles a little different. Here, I'm going to draw these round eyes. I'm not going to draw any character in particular. Then, I draw the circles of what our eyes look like, put in a little shine, draw the pupils, and then to give it a little more depth, I kind of thicken the outline. It makes it look, I guess, more anime. I picked this up from anime, really. A lot of my drawing styles from just picking up what looks good to me. And then, eyebrows rest just above our eyes, and so I follow the guideline from here to there, and I just go just above the guideline. Now, our nose connects from our eyebrows. Not from our eyes, mind you, but from our brow. So, for example, the nose would come down like this. And it would also come down like that. But of course, we don't draw the nose like that often. Depends on your art style. Some artists do. But I don't. So, I just draw the bridge and the tip of the nose, and sometimes I'll draw the nostril, depending on the character I'm drawing. So for Rainbow Dash's nose is, you know, the bridge, and then I draw the square, that is the tip of her nose, because some noses have a very defined tip, and then I draw the nostrils. And that's just kind of the nose I gave her. And I always give her a little scuff mark on the bridge. Don't ask me why. It's just something I always thought was very cute, you know, sporty. She always kind of has a little scuff mark here. Swifthue has the same nose. And Fluttershy, well, Fluttershy has the basic anime nose of just a little dot. It's supposed to imply a nose. Your eyes read it. And so it's good enough. It's really amazing what the human's eye can see. Just a few lines become a face. We've really been trained to see faces in this figure. So oftentimes less is more. Less lines look more feminine, more lines look more masculine. Just a little tip there. So, there is the basic construction. The cheek tilts in about where the mouth is, goes down to the jaw, and up and around to a chin, and your ear attaches to your chin here. Your ear is about the size of your nose. So if you're like, hey, is the ear too high up? Is the ear too high down? Too low down? Then you just line it up with the nose and it makes your life easier. And our ears are on both sides of our head, so have no fear to add a little sign of the ear over here, depending on how turned your character is. You know, if they're facing straight ahead, of course, you would draw the ears on both sides of the head. But if the head was facing more to the side, like this, then of course you wouldn't draw the other one because it wouldn't be seen. Your other ear would be matching, but it would be covered by the face. So, I don't do this all the time, but I can find it be very helpful for new artists, is draw your hairline. Really, do it. Draw your hairline. This will provide more structure to your hair. Because oftentimes when I'm drawing Rainbow Dash, let me do a quick one over here real quick. Because oftentimes when I'm drawing Rainbow Dash, I will just kind of scribble her hair in, and then it will look wrong to me. Yeah, that's enough. I only want the hair. When I do her hair, I kind of just scribble it in, and the reason it'll look wrong is because it'll look bald in certain spaces. So if I drew a hairline, you know, it'd be like, hey, the bang wouldn't start there. So I find the hairline keeps you from having weird, you know, structural issues. You know, when I first started drawing, I would draw DBZ inspired hair. So for me, it would just be a case of, you know, that, and then, you know, hey, it's hair, right? But then you've got things like, hey, there's a big bald spot here, and, you know, where's the hair all coming from the side of the head? So, really, think of the head in 3 dimensions. Our head is covered on the top and side, so you're going to see hair come from here. If you don't draw hair here, sometimes it'll look very odd, like, is half their hair gone? Which, hey, there are hairstyles where they have half their head shaved. Depends on your design. So let's talk about, like, Swifty's hair. I have it parted like this, above one eye. Thinking about parts really help as well. Well, he got that part from Fluttershy. Lumina's hair goes down the center. And her hair line is like this. So let's just, you know, do that for you. So center part. So here is where her hair would fall from, this little area here. And then it would fall down in front of the ear. And then here it is showing you that her hair would come behind her head here. Then, around the head, and pigtail! Woo! Okay, so that's Lumina's hair. And I give her this little angel wisp, I don't know why. It's just something I've always given her. Don't ask me how her hair works. You know? But, so that's the part of Lumina's hair. And it's very structured, you know? You can see where the hair falls from. These are her bangs. This is the shape of her bangs. I'm going to use a little color here to show you how I basically structure hair. And to do this, I'm going to use my beloved Hikaru. So, how I structure hair is you have the bangs, and then you have, you know, sometimes I'll have characters with forelocks. These can be sideburns, their hair could be parted that way. I got this a lot from anime, because anime had a lot of hair in front of the ears. And then you would have, because I draw a lot of spiky-haired characters, you would have the back hair behind the bangs, because our bangs don't extend to the back of our heads. Our bangs, you know, are usually parted in the front. And this is just structure I picked up from drawing DBZ a lot. And so, you know, when you think about how hair is structured, it usually comes out like that. And then lastly, we have, you know, the fallback. So think about how your character's hair is brushed and parted. That's pretty important. You know, some hairs don't have to be crazy. Some hair isn't crazy at all. Some of it's just plain. So let's say if we had a perfectly ordinary, you know, haircut. Let's give this person, like, you know, hair like that. Pretty simple, right? Well, Vero, how does their hair part? Well, it would part from here, because it's falling down that way. And the reason it's good to know how the hair parts is it's good for coloring. Because, once again, I picked this all up from Dragon Ball Z, because hair is darkest at the root, where it falls, and then lightest in the center, where the shine typically is. So, when you know that little trick, ta-da! You can color hair! Makes life a lot easier for me, anyway. So, anyway, back to SwiftU. So I draw a little part in his hair, because his hair has that, and then it goes down to past his eye and up again. So this is how I structure it. Then I kind of draw the shape or the silhouette of how I want it to look. And I always adjust it. Sometimes I draw the silhouette wrong first time, but then I draw the structure inside of it and change it accordingly. So notice how I did the structure wrong, so I erased just this extra bit. I don't want that. Screw that. And then I draw the back of his hair, and I still follow the structure. And that is SwiftU hair. And you can do this basic kind of thing with all kinds of hairstyles. It's really easy to break them down. The weirdest hairstyles, you know, some of them don't make sense, like Lumina's little loose tough hair, but really, Lumina's little loose tough hair is really, Japanese call it the ahoge. It's a cowlick that stands up. But Lumina's cowlick doesn't stand up, Lumina's cowlick falls down, and it forms what I call her little angel halo. So she just has this one cowlick that won't fall into her bangs or won't tie into her pigtails. So I just came up with that on the fly. See, notice earlier I said don't ask me how her hair works? Well, her hair works. I made it up. So there is some basic structures about hair, faces. Does anyone have any questions, or would they like me to go into detail or do kind of examples of different pieces of the face? And I'll get into it. Any requests? Or not, you know. Could be the lag between my mic and the chat. Okay, facial hair. I do like me some facial hair. I have a lot of characters with it, so let's get into that. facial hair can be difficult, and as per request, I will show Swift Hue again, and I'll even, you know, help you break it down. Oh, my phone's ringing, so please forgive me.
Summer has come and gone. The innocence can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Ring out the bells again, like we did when spring began. Wake me up when September ends. Here comes the rain again, falling from the stars, drenched in my pain again, coming real. As my memory rests, but never forget what I lost. Wake me up when September ends.
Alright, sorry for that interruption on the tutorial. I plan on posting this video later on YouTube, so that you can all reference it later when you need it. So, let me just finish Swift Hue here. And, for anyone who wants to figure out how I draw the rainbow hair, because a lot of people are like, Vero, I can't figure out the rainbow hair. So,
Like my father's come to pass, 20 years have gone so fast. Wake me up when September ends.
so like Rainbow Dash, Swift Hue has red, orange, and yellow in the front. But unlike Rainbow Dash's hair is burp-a-derp. Oh, I didn't make a new layer. Huh. Oops. Oh well. Rainbow Dash's hair is ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da-da-ba-ba-da. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Ears. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so Rainbow Dash's hair is yellow on the side by the ear, whereas Swift Hue, it's purple! And then it turns orange for Dash. And then red. Then Dash has green. And then blue. And sometimes in the back you can see the purple. The reason I do Swift Hue differently is because I want him to have the rainbow hair, but I wanted to do something different, so I changed the rearrangements. In the spectrum of rainbow, boop, the spectrum from red to purple. Rainbow Dash's hair is split here, where she has the yellow, red, yellow, orange, red, and then the green, blue, purple. Swifthue, I had it split where it's the red and the purple are together. So it's red and then purple. Same hair, just kind of differently structured. So now you know the secret of how I make sense of their hair. Also, Rainbow Dash's hair is Rainbow Dash's hair is lined in blue, while Swifthue's hair is lined in magenta, as a reference to Fluttershy's pink hair. Swifthue's is a darker version of that very same pink. All kinds of stuff I put into this design. Also, this was bothering me, so I had to fix Swifthue's nose. Alrighty then, let's move on to facial hair! Alright, let me tell you now, facial hair took me forever to figure out, and I still don't quite get it. Mustaches. The reason being is that they cover mouths and I have a hard time adjusting the expression, but I've gotten much better at it, and hopefully the tips and tricks I can give you will be very helpful. So, let's get started. So, got myself my random circle. Got myself my random head. Gonna draw myself a broad-chinned bro with ears and a nose and eyes and eyebrows, and we will get to his facial hair. Welcome to the party, Lakota! So, here we have a face with no facial hair. So naked. Now, for this one I'm going to draw the lip, because for facial hair covers, let's use a different color here. Let's use red. Let's use red to show you where the facial hair covers. Facial hair covers from the ear down the jaw, up to the lip, down again, over the lip, and that's the basic structure of where facial hair grows. Alright? So keep that in mind when drawing stubble, beards, etc. These are the places that it will sprout from. When you know, well, yes, also under the chin. Thank you, Lakota. That's for if your head is tilted up. You gotta make sure to draw that under the chin under the chin also has hair too. I just didn't mention it because I forgot to draw an under chin. And sometimes even down to the neck, depending on the amount of facial hair that people grow. Some people grow a lot, some not so much. I have a friend who can't get much more than peach fuzz. And then some people who are just bears and they have fur everywhere. But anywho. So I'm going to do a couple of different characters I have who has different types of facial hair. So this character here just has a little goatee. So when drawing this little goatee, I usually draw the bottom of his lip and draw the fur on his little chin here. And that's how his goatee is worn. But there are different ways that people have goatees, soul patches. Really, if you look up different type of facial hair patterns, there's a lot. Sometimes you've just got the soul patch. Sometimes it kind of extends into a Tony Stark here. And some stashes grow really long and cover the lip. For those stashes, I draw kind of the lip, but then I draw the fuzz going down over it. This would be like the Mario. Let's do the Mario. That would be a Mario stash. And so really, when you're doing an expression with a Mario stash, you would use the mustache as kind of the smile, the frown. It's very expressive because your skin is elastic and the mustache grows from the skin. So if you frown, the mustache would follow that pattern. So there's a little secret to drawing expressions with a mustache covering the mouth.
Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and
one character I have a lot of people facing left. Let's face the other way.
He once was a true love of mine.
One character I have has mutton chops. Mutton chops extend from beside the ears down to the jaw, depending on how they do it, and then up to the lip. So you follow that structure. So with this kind of basic understanding of where hair grows, you can come up with all kinds of different facial hair designs. Just like it's very important to know the structure of the hair, it's also very important to know the structure, well, not the structure, but the pattern of where facial hair grows. So, do we have any requests for anything else?
Fate is our adventure, a secret path through hidden woods and wonders, across the bright horizon. Come find me.
Gems? Gems like the stone, or gems like the gem sona? Oh, well, I'm doing tutorial stuff right now. You know, so you don't need me to teach you how to draw your own gem sona. But maybe at another time, I'll draw your gem sona for you. Right now, I'm just kind of taking requests for anything people need help drawing, anything people need help explaining. I could go more in detail about ears, noses, eyes, lots of stuff. No worries. Sorry you missed, I don't know, a lot of tutorial explaining then. But I will be posting this video on YouTube, so you can watch it then. Gem Sona is based on Steven Universe. It's where people have been making versions of their own characters based off the properties of the crystal gems in Steven Universe. Alright. I can help a little bit with glasses, but with hats, I am utterly, I'm terrible at them. I'm really bad at drawing hats. So, but I can give you a little something on glasses. Well, Lakota, I'm pretty good at arms. Legs, I'm still teaching myself. So, remember when I told you about heads being a box? Glasses kind of really put that into perspective. So, draw the structure of your face. I'm being kind of lazy and quick with mine. What are proportions? So here we have your structure of the face, and glasses sit on two things. The bridge of your nose and on your ear. So when you know that, and you know the line of where the side of your head is, makes it really easy to draw the structure of the glasses following that pattern.
Shy away from grander things, everywhere. Graceful flight from perch to swing, stoneful every pearl. If I could quell my aching, these stolen breaths are taking.
So, that's the best way I can explain it. And so from different angles, I keep facing everybody to the left, which is a bad habit of almost every artist. Have a profile.
From this vintage winding on through valleys and the pass, rivers treading deeply through their reach exceeds my grasp. From up upon my perching, I felt myself escaping out into the world.
So on a profile, the glasses are actually in front of the eyes.
When I felt like I could stand on my own.
I actually drew the face really long. My bads. And there's no shame in going back and erasing stuff because it happens all the time. Whoops. But there's an idea of how glasses sit on the profile. Different glasses are drawn different ways. You've got your square lenses. You've got your top lenses. So depending on what type of glasses they are, square glasses sit pretty much just like regular, circular glasses. As long as you draw them larger than the eyes, because no point in wearing glasses if you can't see through them.
Now the morning comes when I felt like I could stand on my own, mending straightened wings, threadbare and sewn.
So
My heartbeat strings did pull.
his head's kind of tiny. There's no forehead. Oops. But anywho. As long as you keep the structure, it's not that much different to have square glasses. Some people have small square glasses, and let's do like that. See? And then you follow the shape back to the ear. You don't draw the line straight, you tilt it to the ear. Yeah, not much different. What matters is the eyeglasses are bigger than the eye, and they rest on the nose, and they land back on the ear. As for hats, I still can't draw them very well. I have a friend who is much better at it. I could possibly ask her to do a tutorial for you guys. But all I know is that, you just follow a circular brim. And then you draw larger than the crown of your head. So, that's the only advice I can give you on that. Okay. Bye-bye. Ow! Alright, BRB for a second again. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about the delay and all that. This tutorial has a lot of pauses. So we had a request for hats, glasses, noses and eyes. Okay. So... my best advice to give you about eyes and stuff, this is how I taught myself, was copy them! There's a problem with same face syndrome. We learn one way to draw things, and then we stick to it. That's kind of like with Dragon Ball Z. They only have, you know, the one type of eye. And sometimes they draw it a little different, you know, sometimes they have the Frieza eyes, and sometimes they've got the Super Saiyan 3 eyes that are, you know, just the bone bridge at brow, but still kind of the same thing, you know? But when you get accustomed to drawing a thing and you're still new to it, you end up struggling to come up with different styles. So, copying is the best way to look at it, is just look at how other people draw eyes and figure out how to incorporate it into your own style. You know, you've got, you know, Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy all have the same round eyes, they're just different size of round. This is why I draw that circle. And so the way I would go about is I'd put that circle in, and then I'd do the top lash. And eyelashes kind of extend forward, and then extend backwards. At least depending on the eyelash you're drawing. Some eyelash people, you know, they draw them. If the eyelash is looking down, the eyelashes would kind of cover the eye partially. Some people draw the eyelash is forward. It's all different depending on how you want to draw your character. And then the bottom lid. And I think it looks better if you don't connect the two. And then sometimes I draw the tear duct, depending on my mood. And then, like I told you earlier. And then this line here, it's like, hey Vera, what about the rest of the circle? That's your eyelid. Draw the line for your eyelid, because we have them. And then, of course, brows. Because I love eyebrows. So, let's try another eye design. I have a character named Alton. Alton's eyes tilt down at the edges. So, I would draw the circle differently. I would draw it more like a triangle. And so, I would draw the eyelash. And then the tilt. And then he has kind of a lash out to the side. And then the bottom of the lid, sometimes the tear duct, you don't have to do it all the time, and then the eyelid. And then Alton has very thin pupils and irises. See? That's another thing you can do to differentiate eyes, is you can draw the pupils and irises different. Another example from Helping Hands is Lumina versus Syra. Lumina's eye is a lot like this one. Very round and large. While Syra has triangular eyes. Like so. So Lumina's eyelashes are very large and round. And then I draw her eye taking up most of the space. Notice how thick I draw the outline. And then she has a shine, and then I don't draw a pupil. I just shade in all of this. And then she has a thin brow. You can mix eyebrows up with eyes to make more different styles. Whereas Syra, her eyes are triangular, so the eyelash extends off the edge. This is also consequently how I draw Rarity's eyes. They don't take as much of the eye space. And then that is Syra's eye, and then I give her a triangle-shaped brow. Who else can I show you? Oh, I know. Let me pull up my reference of Violet. Violet's eyes are very different. They're also round and big like Lumina's, but here's an example of how you can draw, two eyes that you would describe as round and big, but in two completely different ways. This is why they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. You can go into quite the detail beyond just, oh yeah, they have big round eyes, and alright, so Violet's eye is... So let's go with big and round again. Let's draw it just like Lumina's. But instead, the eyelash comes down lower. And her eyelashes are thicker. They come around. She has 3 of them. And then, on the underside, she has long eyelashes beneath her eye as well. And then, she has more shine in her eye than the other characters do. I basically fell for that whole, the character whose eyes you never see has actually gorgeous eyes trope. I don't know why, I just like it. I just thought it was cute. So, that's another way to draw, a simple eye. So there are all kinds of ways, all different kind of ways. Just look at examples of things you admire, different artists, and see, the different techniques and the different ways they differentiate characters. Are their eyes wide? Are their eyes small? Do they only draw the top lid? Are the eyes more detailed? Are the eyes evil looking? A good way to make a character's eyes look unnatural is to omit the shine. The reason our eyes have shine is because our eyeballs are wet. Really, our eyeballs are wet, so it makes sense wet surfaces reflect. So, when an eye does not shine, it looks unnatural, dead, or lifeless. And this is a good way to make a disconcerting character. Sometimes you can even add a little extra something something to make the eye look even, more detailed. There's so many different shapes, so many different ways to draw them, so many different, eyebrows you could do. Give them personality. I draw my own eyebrow with lines through it, but I don't really draw anybody else's like that. Alton's eyebrow is thick here, but then it just turns into a thin line. Like I showed you with Syra, Syra's got those triangle eyebrows. And they can be angry, but they still remain in the shape they're supposed to belong to. Or they can be sad and still be triangles. You could draw somebody with a bushy eyebrow that thins in the center. Kind of like if somebody had an almost unibrow. Nothing wrong with that. My eyebrows are fuzzy and people love them. So many different choices and such riches aplenty. Not a bad problem to have if you ask me. Now, noses. I'm kind of known for my noses, which is a very odd thing to be known for. I don't particularly think I draw them any special, but why noses? Who knows? So let's just, let's get right into that. See if I can help. So the breakdown of the nose is, well, you've got the tip of the nose. And then you've got nostrils. And then you've got the bridge. And then you've got this little curvy thing here. It's called the meniscus. Now you know what it's called, that little thing that connects your nose to your lips. It's called the meniscus. There is your fun anatomy fact for the day. So the tip of everybody's nose is pretty much ball shaped, but when you're drawing cartoons and stuff, you can take some, liberties. What I like to do is when I'm doing structure, if you want to simplify a nose with 1 or 2 lines, bridge, and that's it. Maybe 3, maybe give yourself a nostril, and you have a nose. Like I said before, you wouldn't believe what the eye can read with less is more. Sometimes you could just put, I did a face! I did a face with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pen strokes. Less is more sometimes. But I like to build things out because this is a good way of learning structure if you don't know how to draw something. This is why a lot of my faces are, I draw the circles and the lines, because if I draw it without them, things fall out of place. So, there's the basic structure of your nose, and if you want to tilt it, up, you've got ball, the nostrils, and then the bridge of the nose and your meniscus. like to cheat. It's hard for me to figure out this, so what I do is I do the DBZ nose. And there you go, I have, you know, that. You can draw the bridge as a straight line, and that'll help too, because your bridge is more than just a line. This is how I do quick stuff with Rainbow Dash. Oftentimes, if you want to make a character, I really like drawing the meniscus sometimes, because it's a good way of drawing the lip without drawing a lip. And I know a lot of people have trouble with lips, let me tell you. So there's a little trick there, is you can draw the meniscus without needing to draw the lip. Some noses are pointy. This is how I draw Twilight's nose. Fluttershy just kind of has the little dip nose here. I mean, if we were to structurally draw her nose, it would look like that. She has a very small little nose in the bridge and then eyes. But less is more. So, here we go. Swift has Rainbow Dash's nose, which I think I drew earlier, but I will put it down again for you. Dash and Swift has the same nose. A square for the tip, kind of like this little ball here. And then nostrils. And then the bridge. And then a scuff. I'll draw it in a few different poses so you can kind of get an idea of how it would look. So there's a couple of examples of how that nose works. And never forget that the nose reaches up to your eyebrows. Sometimes the nose will even partially cover an eye if your head's turned enough. Don't be afraid to cover the eye with noses. Especially if the nose has a large bridge. Like so. It's definitely going to cover the eye. The bridge of the nose is a very good way to kind of change things. You can make noses look pretty wacky. The more detailed a nose is, though, the less feminine it is, because our art has stylized female faces to be very simple. That's why a lot of people draw noses non-existent. Like I said, more lines is more masculine. Let me see if I can do a couple of more nose examples. It's not so hard. Sometimes you can completely change a nose by defining it a little more. This nose versus that nose. So many choices and such riches aplenty. When you mix those noses up with the eyes, you end up getting a lot of choices, a lot of differences, and you don't have to worry about same face syndrome. Always, always, always practice new and different faces. Copy from real life. Copy from other artists you like. Obviously, copy to study. Don't copy and claim as your own. There's a big, big difference. Huge. The internet has sort of muddied the line between reference and art theft. Give due credit. Tell them you're studying, that you're learning, that you're not claiming. Give reference to where you got the image from. Link to it. It's completely different from theft. So, we've got noses and we've got eyes. I guess I'll do a quick ear, or at least how I draw ears. The ear connects. You've got your earlobe, your jaw, the ear curves down and has a little dip here. Then you have an earlobe, and then you have the inner ear, and then you kind of get a little Y, and then your ear hole is like there. And that's a basic ear. So when I draw it, I simplify it as wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That's how I draw my ears. Quick and easy. If you wanted to do like an elf ear, something longer, more ornate, all you need is the hook, the swoop, the Y, and the lobe. That's what you need. And then you have an ear. Look at these lines. It already looks like an ear. For example, how you can make ears different is Rainbow Dash and Swift Hue have big earlobes. I give them little Buddha ears, as I call them. Ironically, they're shaped like butterflies! How funny is that? Butterfly ears. But you can draw ears a bunch of different ways. All you need is the Y, the lobe, and the hook. This also works for animal ears too. They're a little more simplified though. The loop would be here, the lobe would be like that, and then the Y is more simplified like so. Horse ears are conical. They're actually more like this. But of course, My Little Pony can simplify it like so. Just draw a cone and you have a My Little Pony ear. Let's see, we got eyes, noses, ears, hair. Is there anything else that you guys might need explaining a little bit? Or shall we end this tutorial here?
Underneath the ice so cold,
Well,
not a care to be told.
the biggest advice I can give you first is
Dislikes or fights down here. Only one and one
Seamouth is
hold us close and
fine, but it's boring. It does show more structure than, you know, that kind of mouth. And a lot of anime mouths don't even bother drawing anything. It's just, there it is, that's a mouth. And I'm like, it's emptiness! But, look at different mouths, look at references. So here's an example.
You'll see what the Arctic means to me.
Always, you know, kind of look at different things. So here is ba-ba-da-ba. Here's a reference of a snarl. I googled snarl and this is what I got. So I'm just gonna put that over here where I can see it. Whoop. And so mouths are rubbery and elastic and they are tied to the nose. So let's do that nose again. And the meniscus.
The ice so cold, dreams rise up to be told.
This is a really terrible example of just kind of structure of the mouth.
Wanna sing, raise my eyes and hope to see what he means to me. Underneath the ice so cold, where my soul is warm and soft. Some souls rise and some souls fade. It's my life by places made. Can you see? Oh, can you see?
So there's kind of a basic example of the structure of the mouth. So we've got the upper lip, lower lip, chin. The lip connects to the chin from the edges, like that. So the chin's round and the lip connects down that way. The nose has a line. Well, let me change it to color. There we go. The nose has a line from the edge of an eye down to the edge of your lip. This is kind of a line here that goes that way. So, kind of goes that way. And then you have, use the meniscus, and then you've got this here. So that's like a bare bones terrible example of the breakdown of the muscles in the mouth. Everything in the human body is just layers of muscle and tissue wrapped around everywhere. Everything interconnects. And if you know how things interconnect, that's how you can make something look from flat to real. You know, you've got, on one hand, you know, you've got an arm. You know. And then on the other hand, you've got an arm. Big difference. Same thing with every part of the body. That's why it's very important to learn kind of muscles or how things connect. And very important to know structure. When you know the foundation of these things, it makes it easier to stylize them and not have it look weird. So, structure of the mouth. Let's get back into that snarl. So this guy's nose kind of flares, the nostrils get pulled up, and it causes a crinkling right here. Causes a crinkling, and that crinkling causes these lines on the side to go down. Then he has one lip going up. So this is how I would draw his snarl. I wouldn't bother with a lip unless I had a character who had really defined lips. And then his bottom teeth are showing more than his top teeth. So I would draw kind of a basic kind of thing of his teeth, and then you don't have to draw individual teeth. It actually looks weird. Our brain will fill out the spaces if you just kind of draw the caps of the teeth. You don't need to actually draw a straight line. This would be a simplified version of how you could draw teeth without needing to do much. So that's how I would go about, you know, the snarl of that reference. Let me pull out that reference for you guys, and you can compare. Boop! You know, the lip goes up, nostril curls up. This nostril is higher than this one, so that's why I have it curling up here, and this one just kind of curls to here. So let's try another one. Let's try, crooked smile. And images. Ugh, we don't need crooked teeth. Here, crooked smile. Whoops. So, for that one, his nose is tilted down. Nostril curls up, like so. And then around. And then meniscus. And the smile is lower down here. And kind of curls up that way. And then he's got kind of a little smirk. So you draw this line kind of pointing towards that way. And then the lip. So let's combine them together, shall we? Let's combine one final piece. Ready? You've got your head. You've got your guidelines. Got your secondary guidelines. And don't forget the structure of the side. So, forehead, down, dip into the eye socket, cheek, down to the chin, chin, ear, neck, so let's do a different kind of nose. Nose. And a brow. Let's make this brow kind of confused. Your brow, when it's curled up and confused, it squishes the skin beneath, the skin between. This is called the glabella. See, now you have two fun anatomy facts. You've got the meniscus and you've got the glabella. Hairline. Let's give this guy some mutton chops. Yeah, boy! Don't forget to add the details of his ears. Let's give him, dark eyes. I'm going to change his chin a little bit. Like I said, no harm in erasing and adjusting things as you go. And let's give him... what can we do with his hair? Let's give him... kind of a... buzz here. And he's got hair in the back. And let's part his hair down the middle. What say you? Now you have drawn a Vero head. Congratulations. I'm so proud of all of you. So this has been Vero's tutorial on the head and face. I hope it was useful for you all. And I hope you got something out of it. And if you have any further questions, any further, things you'd like me to go into that you struggle with as you practice these techniques, feel free to message me. I'll get right on creating another tutorial for you, and I can come up with more examples and more ideas to help you out and help you figure out these things. Thank you all for coming, and good night.